everybody, to another Winning Wednesday edition of the Heat Ratio Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Cotillo, joined by John Coker and Coach Dave. And today is the National Day of Mourning Day. Obviously, if you haven't seen the news, which I'm sure you all have, 41st President of the United States of America, George H.W. Bush, obviously passed away. So today, Mr. President Trump has closed all the markets and said this will be a National Day of Mourning for, I guess, the guy who's been remembered as the Desert Storm Commander. I mean, that's all I remember him for. I mean, I'm not saying all, right, but that's kind of like his highlights. So, we'll take a moment of silence here for about 30 seconds on the Heat Ratio in remembrance of George H.W. Okay, so we're going to get right back at it. And again, thoughts and prayers go out to the Bush family. But we're talking Eagles win, 28-13, Eagles Redskins. Listen, we'll each have a little takeaway from the game. The one thing I'm going to say right off the bat, I wasn't excited. I thought it was just I don't know what else to say. I was expecting a little more, and I think maybe it was just the whole presentation, not just the play calling, not just the team, the announcers, the presentation, the ESPN. I mean, Monday Night Football used to be the pinnacle of NFL weeks, and now it's kind of like the dungeon. It's just like watching a funeral. There's no, all due respect to Jason Witten, there's just no enthusiasm behind the microphone. So, but listen, the one thing I'm going to take away from this game is, the one play. Obviously, Darren Sproles comes back, where Jason Kelce just took on two blockers. Got him. Did you see that play?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is for all the Jason Kelce haters out there, let me tell you something. This dude ran 20 yards upfield and was like Michael Orr in The Blind Side, like all over again. Was literally pushing the defensive tackle out of the way. And then with one left hand, knocks down the safety.
Yep.
I was like, this is insane. So that's one thing I'd take away. I think even though Carson, did get rushed a little bit, I think the offensive line play was better. But just to see Jason Kelce play, I think that was a really big deal for me. What about you guys?
Well, I was going to let Coach Dave go, but he's pointing at me. So
he must have something good.
I guess I'm going to go with, and we mentioned it, I'm going to go with the lack of Alshon use.
I like that.
We were talking, is he a number one receiver in the NFL?
He's getting paid like it.
He was last year, and the expectation going into this year was that he was. So, we'll talk a little more on Alshon in a bit, but they're not utilizing him like a number one receiver. So that's kind of my takeaway. And is that going to change at some point?
Yeah, and an interesting part before we get to Coach Dave about that is there was a report by ESPN come out that there's been some turmoil within the locker room. How true it is, I don't know. Okay, but when we break down the numbers, supposedly that leak are talked about maybe being Alshon Jeffrey, not happy with all the targets that Zach Ertz is getting, and why, in his mind, why the offense has been so dinking, dunking, lethargic as opposed to last year. So there could be some credence behind it. I'm not sure, but when we get into the numbers, we'll see. But what about you, Dave? What's your takeaway from the game?
I thought the game was boring at some points. I don't want to, my opinion, I love that we won. Our Eagles gave us an opportunity to play again next week, which we'll talk about preparing for Dallas. But, I thought if you want to talk about wins and losses and where they're won, normally we talk about the line of scrimmage, correct? And the line of scrimmage for our team, our offensive line gave up 0 sacks. According to the stats, I vaguely remember Carson getting beat up on one play. John and I talked about, and the defensive line I thought played very well. So a couple things for me is that they ran the ball over 30 times. The running game looked good. The screen game looked good. Carson I thought missed on a couple throws.
That he did.
That's concerning. But I believe Carson is a tremendous worker. and we'll correct that stuff pretty quickly. Touching on Alshon, I just think that's how they are attacking. Defenses are attacking our team a certain way, right? So what you see a lot of now is double A gap defensive attack linemen attacking us up the middle. So that means Carson has to get rid of the ball. Alshon getting the ball in those situations normally doesn't happen. Your hot reads are normally the middle of the field. Who plays the middle of the field? Zach Ertz, Nelson Aguilar, screen plays. So, that's the reason why Alshon's not getting the ball also is because they're trying to take him away. They're putting their best defensive back on Alshon. So, I don't know. I think it's just part of the development of the game.
Isn't there an adjustment for that, though? You talk about that pressure coming up the middle, right? There should be an adjustment for that.
Well, so your adjustment is you got to get rid of the ball quick.
Okay.
You have to either block down, where linemen are taking on the A-gap linebackers or linemen that are penetrating, or you're asking your running back to sprint up and take on the linebacker. But ultimately, Carson has to get rid of the ball faster, and that because of that, we don't have time to take a 5-step drop and throw the ball downfield.
That's a good point, and that I'll ask you this because we get questions here from now and then. When I decide to actually post something on social media, but our good friend Mark from Fourth and Go, who you can listen to them again every Wednesday 9:30 p.m. They'll be on tonight on WildfireRadio.com. He says, should Doug hold Carson more accountable for protecting the football? And if so, what's the solution? I mean, it seems like he's a little concerned about, whether it be the fumbles that he may have or it seems like a pick a game almost. Should we be concerned?
Well, yeah, he's touching the ball every play. He's ultimately got to be accountable. That's his position. So he has to be accountable for the ball.
I'm thinking he means like in the press conference when Doug comes out, and he is like Andy Reid kind of protects his players. He never really says, hey, well, Carson can't do that. Like, it seems like he protects him more.
Does he need to say that out loud for us to realize that, Carson, you got to protect the ball? Like, for the fans and for us in the media world, like,
it's a game.
Do you need to say that out loud?
I don't know. It's a game now.
Well, I think Doug Peterson protects almost all of his players. He shields them like they're his little ducklings. I mean, that's exactly what it is.
Ducklings.
Do they all have visors?
Those are his little.
They all have little visors.
No, the eaglets. His little eaglets. He doesn't do anything. You can do no wrong in a press conference. His little eaglets.
No, listen. I'm not concerned about Carson. I've been asked on social media by numerous people. Our good friend of the show, Mikey Goog, said to me today, do you feel Carson's regressed? I say no. I say only because my answer to him was, if he wasn't coming back from a significant injury and there wasn't a change in offensive philosophy by the coaches, I would say yes, he's regressed. But this is a whole new offensive approach. And he's coming back from a torn MCL and LCL construction faster than many do. So I really can't say he's regressed. I just think he's slow into getting his groove.
So, Tony, if I may, I believe that what's going on here is that this is a copycat league, right? And defenses have come up with a plan to attack Carson. And now our coach and Carson have to come up with ways to combat that. And it's a learning process. You said it last week. Sean Payton said, we are going to make Carson beat us.
Yes, sir.
And what are they doing? All defenses now are attacking the A-gaps. So what has to happen, and you've seen it a little bit last night, is that our offense is learning from that. And we are getting rid of the ball. How well did we do the screen game last night? In my opinion, Clement looked excellent with the screen game.
Again, because I think he's finally healthy.
And that touchdown to Sproles, was that not a screen? Was that, or was it? Because I saw
that was a pitch. It was a pitch, but
okay.
Towards the outside though.
Okay,
so.
Right, you're right. But I saw Kelsey blocking downfield that you remember. So that again is in our screen game, right? The lineman downfield. So that's all stuff that combats them blitzing us up the middle, is the quick hitting screens, get the ball out right away and get it to our playmakers like Golden Tate, Corey Clement, and running the football. So we're learning to answer, has Carson regressed? I disagree with that. I think what's going on here is that we're learning what defenses are doing to us, and we're learning how to be successful against that. And unfortunately, getting the balls to the outside receivers, when they're blitzing up the middle and they're heavy rushing us on purpose, those guys take the brunt of it because they don't see many targets.
So to your point, two things I'll say. Number one, you bring up Golden Tate. I think I'm not going to be. I really didn't look stat. I think he had 7 catches, right?
He had 7 targets,
7 targets,
and 7 receptions for 85 yards.
Yeah. So he finally. It was kind of a coming out party for Golden Tate. I did the little Tate worm dance in the end zone, which not a big fan of, but hey, that's what he wanted to do. But what I've noticed about Golden Tate was it wasn't the touchdown play. It was a play. I think it was in the third quarter or early fourth quarter. The throw, Carson escaped, gave him a nice throw to the sideline, and he broke the tackle to safety. You can see how strong the bottom half of his body is.
3 guys to bring him
right.
down.
I mean, he's a strong guy.
Yes.
Right? But the other thing I want to say is real fans will touch on Mike Groh. So Mike Groh was promoted to be the offensive coordinator on this team. If you say adjustments do we have enough faith in Mike Groh to be able to make those adjustments? Now, I'll tell you what, I'm not a big Mike Groh guy, okay? Always gets a little funny quote from our good friend Mikey Goog says, I wouldn't hire Mike Groh to clean toilets, let alone run an office. He is horrible.
Mikey, that's so mean, Mike.
I mean, I get it, though. I mean, what is this guy? So, I mean, I feel like we miss a lot, obviously, from Frank Reich. We don't need to beat the dead horse. We see what he's doing out in Indianapolis. Obviously, we miss him dearly. DeFilippo, he's starting to leak oil a little bit in Minnesota, but I just don't have the faith in Mike Groh to be able to make these adjustments so far.
I agree with that 100%.
He hasn't shown it again, right? I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Not to sound like an old cliche, but hey, I haven't seen it. I mean, you know what I mean? So,
this night, I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, all I was going to say is you're going to need to figure something out because Dallas is coming. And,
yes, sir.
And look, they were
prime time.
Well, hey,
who's covering Mark Cooper, by the way?
No one.
No one. Yeah.
I mean, we're going to get to see if John's boy Michael Gallup can hurt us a little bit.
Yeah.
And by the way, after we get through this Eagles and Dallas, probably we're going to talk a little Mariota again. Just by the way,
we will.
Yeah, we will. But go ahead.
Every time, see, now you always throw me off. No, look, Dallas is second in the league defense in points allowed, and they're 5th in yards against. So I'm just saying, look.
They have really stepped up.
Yes,
man.
they have.
They really have.
It's Van Der Esch.
But they're 2 linebackers, him and Smith.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough sledding for that offense if that offensive line does not hold their own and win the battle in the trenches. I mean, I really, not to jump the gun to Dallas Eagles, but
let's go.
That's going to be number one thing that you got to do in this game to win. Is you got to win the battle in the trenches. And I'm talking. I think it's important on both sides of the ball, but offensively, they need to do a good job and give Wentz time. I mean, Alshon is your number 1 wide receiver. You can't just take a weapon completely out of the game,
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I understand. Right? I mean, they don't just erase these guys off of the map here.
Right.
You have to make adjustments to get these guys open.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, John had a good stat. I mean, and we're going to go right into Dallas week because it's a big week here. And, I mean, we probably beat the Redskins game up enough. I mean, it wasn't that great. It is what it is. 28-13, we win, yada, yada, yada. We know the story. But, we're talking about Alshon Jeffrey. He's only seen more than 5 targets since week 7. Okay, hasn't had more than 4 catches in 5 straight games or 48 yards and no touchdowns. That's unacceptable. John had a great stat. If you're looking at fantasy points, he's giving you 8.8 per game.
No, that's not even per game. That was his best game.
His best game was 8.8.
His best game was 8.8, 4 for 48 in the past 5 games.
So, yeah. I bet you he is pissed off. I'd be pissed off too.
In a 3 wide receiver league with a flex, I'm starting him. It's 14 teams, I think.
Yeah, so
got to start him, and he's killing me.
This isn't a Golden Tate effect. This is not a Golden Tate effect. I'm sorry. It's just the offense for some reason. Listen, remember the statement of Alshon: throw it up, I'll catch it. Remember, he told Carson that how many times last year? And that's what Carson did. He threw it up and he caught it. What changed?
Defenses.
You mentioned that. So, again, to your point and John's point, yes, this is going to be an extremely tough matchup in Big D, okay, on Sunday, especially on when you're talking offensive defense. And on the flip side, with Zeke Elliott is reborn out there, right? So not just Amari Cooper, but we need to stop Zeke Elliott, okay? So we need to stop Zeke Elliott, who I think that the difference with Zeke in these last 4 or 5 weeks is he's starting to catch the ball out of the backfield a lot more than he's used to. And it's opened up. It's got defenses off guard. So now they're like, okay, now we have this weapon. We got Amari Cooper now. We got Dak, who's going to decide to run the ball every now and then. So people are scrambling and Cole Beasley hasn't even been an option this year. And he was a nice little scat receiver, a couple years ago. So I'd say I'm concerned going into this game, especially it needs to be a must-win. When you line up the Rams and the Texans after that, my Lord.
Yeah.
This is our season right here. We're 6-6.
I mean, in reality, we have been saying that for the past 4 weeks.
Yeah, we have.
This is our.
But
season.
with teams like Carolina losing,
this is officially
right?
Yeah, but you lose this game, it's over. I mean, period.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah, your division.
Yeah.
Your division is now non-achievable.
You're talking about this game. Yes, I'm sorry. I thought you meant anyone in the next three. Yeah,
no,
you're right.
no,
Yeah, you're
game.
right. It's a must-win.
So Dallas's defense against New Orleans Saints.
It's a good match right there.
Drew Brees threw for 127 yards. He was sacked twice for 16 yards. I mean, this defense, this challenge for us, John touched on it. The line of scrimmage is going to be huge on both sides of the ball. You got to stop Zeke, in my opinion. You got to make Prescott beat you. Prescott was sacked 7 times in that game against the Saints. You have to stop Ezekiel. Our offense, this is going to be the best challenge to me to date against the Dallas Cowboys. And we want to see where we're at offensively. Well, here we go. This is it. And in order for us to win, I'm going to make a prediction and say that Alshon will have a big game and needs to have a big game because their D-backs can't guard him. They can't cover him, in my opinion. And we have to stretch their defense out. They can rush the passer. Their linebackers are phenomenal. Vander Esch, whatever.
Vander Bosch.
Whatever his name is.
What are you, like a contact commercial?
Bosch and Lom.
Yeah, what are you, a contact lens commercial over there?
Yeah.
Vander Bosch.
He's an excellent linebacker, rookie linebacker that wouldn't have seen the field if it wasn't for Sean Lee. But
Yeah.
Coach Dave, Mickey Mantle, and Vander Bosch.
Mickey Mantle.
Tag team partners.
And Dave, I'm going to tell you this. I almost think the opposite. I don't think Alshon's going to get it going this week.
He probably isn't.
Especially if they're putting their best corner on him, and you got Ertz. I mean, the guy that what shocks me is Ertz isn't getting covered like he should be. You look at Gronk last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They got a linebacker and a safety on him. I mean, they're double covering him. He's still catching balls. It is so clear that Ertz is the number one target in this offense, and he has to be shut down. So if you're not putting the right attention on him, I mean, he's breaking records. He already set the single-team reception record for the Eagles. Any player, which actually, did you see that was held by
Jason Witten?
No, for the Eagles.
Keith Jackson?
No, I believe Brian Westbrook held the receptions record. So the Eagles haven't even had a receiver holding these records. Well, now Ertz breaks it. He's ready to break the all-time tight end record. But, I mean, you got to shut him down. That's where the focus should be. And on top of that, like Coach Dave said about the way the game flow's been going and the pressure and this and that, truthfully, they've been sending Aguilar on the deeper routes, and he's been getting open more than Jeffrey. And I think they're content to keep Tate on the short balls, keep dumping balls off to the running backs. I really think they're just letting Alshon out on the island and let him just take bodies away from the actual action, which is Ertz and the dink and dunks. That, people say, what's the problem with offense? That may be the problem with offense. I mean,
right.
you got to take some shots with Alshon. If he is your number one, if you see that he's in single coverage, and I mean, often I relate it to Pittsburgh games.
Yeah.
Dude, Ben sees, whether it's Juju or Antonio Brown, when he sees them in single man coverage, he's taking a shot. First down, second down, it doesn't matter. He's like, I'm throwing the ball up there. I'm counting on my guy to come down with it. So, I mean, they haven't been doing that. And when you do that, you get your best guy, and that's Alshon.
They haven't been doing that.
So the reason why I'm saying that Alshon needs to step up is Van Der Esch played Ertz excellent the last game.
Well, and they're
going to take him away. They're going to take Zach Ertz away.
And Van Der Esch is always hanging around in the middle.
Yeah, so that's you're going to need your outside receivers to play a big part if they're going to see success. That's how I see it. That kid can play the middle of the field. Him and Jalen Smith, I think, is the other linebacker.
Yep.
They're excellent at covering.
Very athletic. Very athletic.
Yep. And
big athletic linebackers, man. They are.
So
what's your let's let's go.
Tack
prediction.
Downfield.
What's that prediction? What do you got?
21-10 Eagles.
Wow, he came out with that. What about you, John?
Wow, I
he came out that hard. I know. I know it's early. It's only Wednesday, but hey, you know what I mean. What's the difference between Wednesday or Sunday? Is it, except for an injury that pops up from practice?
No, I've been recovering from. I mean, we finished the. Most of fantasy regular seasons have ended. Some are having a hangover, and some are popping bottles. You know what I mean? So I'm still coming over on that, but I'm going to go with 27-17.
Birds.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're going boys.
Look, I put it this way: the Eagles have won the past 2 games.
You're
against
a Pittsburgh
the Giants,
guy, though, so your opinion doesn't count anyway.
And I'm fine. Hey, but you know what? Us Pittsburgh guys hate Dallas just as much as the next person. So I will say that. But no, in all seriousness, the Eagles have won the past 2 games. They haven't looked the best. They still haven't hit the strides that they needed to. And I'll tell you what, the way Dallas played against New Orleans, and they just look like they have a new swagger about them. I hate saying it. I don't want to see it happen. But I see Dallas taking it.
Well, I'm going to go on the side of Coach Dave here, and I'm going to say that our boys get up big time for this game. I can't remember the last time when we lost both division games to Dallas, but whatever it is, it's not going to be this year. I think we're going there with an extra added enthusiasm. I think everything, and this is what I see this game, I think everything comes together with this game. But then just for one game. And I think the following week we go, what the hell happened? Like I just think because they're going to be on another level. I think they're going to go out there to Jerry's World, okay, and they're going to win because I really do. I'm going to go, but I think it's going to be a little different in both of you. Dave says 21-10. You're saying 27-17. Dude, I'm going 17-10. I'm going a real low-scoring game, defensive battle. I think Zeke gets one. Okay, I think they don't hold Cooper in check, but they keep him out of the end zone. And I think this game is going to be won by Corey Clement. I think the game is going to be won by Clement in this game, and we win 17-10. That's my prediction. So, we'll see what happens. But, not just, listen, on this show, we talk everything. We talk local, national, and we got to touch on some national stories because, we got Mike McCarthy getting fired in Green Bay. You have Ron Rivera firing, Carolina, I would say, firing half of his staff out there. You got Kareem Hunt being released because of, again, domestic violence issues against women. I don't know, man. What do you think about the McCarthy deal? I think it should have been done 2 years ago, to be honest with you. I think this guy's been riding the coattails of a Super Bowl for how long? How long on this show have I said he's Doug Peterson? I honestly think him and Doug, they have a lot of comparisons together. I think they really do. And I think this was an Aaron Rodgers call. I think Aaron Rodgers, it was basically him or him. It's him or me. And they went with the franchise quarterback. And I think that's why all the people that said, listen, if it wasn't an Aaron Rodgers issue, he would have finished out the season. No matter win or lose, no matter where they're at, they would have just let it go. But because there was such turmoil between him and AR, I think they said, you got to go now. You got to go now. We'll do what we need to do, and we'll start the search. And I think that's what happened.
That's likely what happened.
Are you surprised?
I saw him interviewing Aaron Rodgers asking about it, and he said that I hope I'm not the reason that he got fired.
Yeah.
Whatever. Look, they didn't always see eye to eye. Who knows what went on behind the scenes? No, a guy with that type of resume and what he did. I mean, you bring him a championship team. I think what was he there? 11 years?
12.
12 years, and he went to the playoffs.
9.
Yeah, exactly.
9 out of 12.
9 out of 12. So, look, I'm not saying that it's not time to go. I mean, every coach eventually has, the end.
Oh, you have a lifeline.
But to do it at this, mid-season.
A lot of people feel it. I mean, Tony Dungy was adamant about it, said how disrespectful it was.
Oh, I believe Tony. I'm with Tony.
You with Tony on that?
Oh, yeah. You got to. Where's the class?
Right.
That's no class
especially,
to let the guy finish the year.
Especially if you have no shot at the playoffs anymore.
You let the guy finish the year.
Yep.
There's I know.
Why does it matter?
Well,
when you're done, you're done.
Because where does respect come back into the play of anything?
But how is it a respect thing?
It's the lack of respect.
If you know though that you're going to be done at the end of the year, what the hell? Why do you even need to finish out the 5 games?
What's it matter if you fire? I'll reverse that question. What's it matter if you fire him now?
Why? Because
you're not interviewing anybody.
No, because why? Why is he being fired? Because they feel he's not good for the job anymore, right?
Yeah,
so
he's inadequate.
But if they're not comfortable with his philosophies, then why would they allow him to keep breathing his philosophies for the next 4 or 5 games?
Well, they did it for 12 years, so that's why you.
Yeah, but you also have new players.
You have 4 games left. You mean 4 games left? You couldn't give this guy his just due? How about those 4 games that their offense turns around for some reason? They score 30 points a game with him as the coach. That wouldn't change your mind to bring him in for the following year?
Well, here's the thing. Year? No, I don't think with them the mindset was already made up. So they did not want that to happen.
I think Aaron Rodgers' mind was made up.
I agree. I just said it.
And they took the quarterback. This is what bothers me, is that you make the player bigger than the team. That can never happen. And they allowed it. Green Bay, of all places, the holy grail of the NFL, in a lot of people's minds, Green Bay.
You're right.
They allowed one player to determine whether a man keeps his job or not with 4 games left. That is total disrespect. And in my opinion, they failed. Green Bay Packers as an organization failed. I don't care if I agree with you. Mike McCarthy should have been gone 2 years ago.
You just don't agree with how it happened.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So I want you to say, all the listeners out there, what you told me off air when we talked about, because listen, before this firing, I should say, the most attractive job in my opinion is Cleveland. Okay, honest to God, I think they're an up and coming team. They have a lot of nice pieces, draft picks, money. They have it all. To me, they're in the attractive spot. But now, with Mike McCarthy getting fired, I think Green Bay is the most attractive job.
You get the best quarterback in the
league.
Right.
So I said, I think it's Bruce Arians' job. But you said who?
Andy Reid.
And why would you say Andy Reid?
I think that's been Andy's goal the whole time he's been an NFL
to go back
head coach.
There because he's been a quarterback's coach and because that's where he started.
Yep.
So you think he leaves the Chiefs after this year and goes to the Green Bay Packers?
If they offer him a job, I think he's gone.
Wow, dude, that's pretty ballsy. I like it though because I mean he does have a lot. Listen, he has a lot. He has a lot there, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then maybe he takes Doug with him.
Dude, can
we get Frank right back.
Can he please? But no, I like that. I like that. That would be a bomb that got dropped in the NFL.
That's our NFL conspiracy theory of the day.
So wait. So let's play this out. So the Chiefs play, because I still think it's going to be the Chiefs against the Patriots, okay, in the AFC Championship game to get to the bowl, okay? Do you think that game decides what he does, win or lose?
Maybe.
So could you imagine? So do you think he's more, and again, I'm just ad-libbing here, is he more susceptible to take the job in Green Bay if offered, if he goes to the Super Bowl and loses or goes to the Super Bowl and wins?
I mean, they're great.
You know what I mean?
Like
think
questions.
About that.
I think either way, if he gets offered
you
the
think
job,
either way he's gone.
he goes. Let's just put the hypothetical out there that he goes to KC or stays in KC this year, obviously, and wins the Super Bowl. I think he goes to Green Bay the following year. They offer him a job.
Wow.
Yep.
John saying no. You don't think so?
I'm shaking my head no. You guys are crazy with your conspiracy
Hey, you guys!
theories.
It's not my theory. It's Coach Dave's theory.
All right. If I'm Andy,
I said Bruce Arians.
If I'm Andy Reid and I got a young Patrick Mahomes and I'm already making the playoffs and I'm running stuff like this, I'm going to go to Green Bay, who has Aaron Rodgers for,
he's 35.
How many more years? 3
3
years. So I'm going to go to
3
Green
top
Bay
years.
and potentially put my career on the line with whoever is going to be his replacement. No, thank you. There ain't no way he goes to Green Bay.
Can Andy Reid build a football team?
Yeah, he just did. Why
exactly.
would he leave it?
And he's got the best quarterback in the NFL.
He's not one to jump around.
Is he the
from
best
team
quarterback
to
in
team.
the NFL right now?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
In my opinion,
He's
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 won one
the
leg.
best quarterback in
He's
the
one.
NFL
He's one
now.
leg. He's one leg this year.
Because a lot of people say that Mike McCarthy, held his talent back.
Oh, no.
I mean, I don't know.
How could you hold his talent?
They said he's wasted his prime years with Mike McCarthy. That's what a lot of people feel. I'm not saying I feel, but this is what they've said.
I mean, my opinion is that okay. Let's take out the best quarterback scenario. Is he a really good quarterback?
Yes.
Can he win you games?
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Whether he's number 1, number 2, number 5, he can win you games. You have to build a team around him. What we see in Green Bay is they didn't give him enough parts. The offensive line was in question every year. Can Andy Reid build a team? Can he focus on an offensive line and weapons? Absolutely. Guess what? Here's another hypothetical.
Okay.
Mahomes is under his rookie contract, right?
Yes.
He comes up for his rookie contract, and guess who signs him? Andy Reid in the Green Bay
Oh,
Packers.
listen to you. Listen to Coach Dave with all these conspiracy
There you go. I got it
theories.
all mapped out for the next 4 years.
Okay, well, let's stay on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they signed Kareem Hunt too.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Let's stay on the
Yeah.
Chiefs, and we'll bring. Hey, listen, we'll open up Pandora's box here. It is what it is. Kareem Hunt, video surfaces, and let's say, okay. Preface me by saying this. He was let go not because of that video. That was strike 2. He was let go because he lied about that video. A lot of people don't realize that. That video is old. Okay? And what happened was,
Is it February?
yeah, so there was some smoke and mirrors out there that video was, apparent, and they went to him. And he said, "Oh no! I don't know what you're. That's false. It's
They
not
being the Kansas City
them
Chiefs.
being the Kansas City
and
Chiefs.
Andy Reid.
So then when that got released, it wasn't just because of what he did. First reason he got released, you lied. You broke the code. Mm-hmm. So he was already gone. Does he get another job in the NFL?
That's a simple answer. Yes. Can he run the football?
Well, the only reason why I say that because I think this scenario is going to be the hardest and deepest fine that you will ever see in the NFL right now. It's going to go past the 6 games. I think this guy's going to be suspended for a year. I really do because there's been other things that are starting to come out now. There was a report yesterday just come out with another incident. Okay, so if there's 1, if there's 2, there's 3, 4, or 5. Okay, so I have a feeling that this kid is going to have a hell of a time getting back into the NFL. And for all those people out there saying the Eagles were going to be, come on, stop. That was ridiculous.
We don't want them.
No, I don't want any part of that situation, okay? The only thing I'm going to say, because we get a whole argument about, not argument, but we get a whole segment about this, which I don't want to do because I don't want to waste my time with Kareem Hunt, okay? But what I want to do say is, I want this to be the biggest fine because I'm tired and I'm tired of guys like Kareem Hunt and Ray Rice and Greg Hardy and all
Foster.
these right Reuben Foster's he's living it up. I mean, looking good out there in a uniform, okay? I'm tired of it. These guys are giving everything and they feel like they're invincible and this is what happens. And if you can consistently do this, you're going to have more and more of these incidents and they need to stop. So let's stop that talk because I'm done with that. And speaking of young kids and thinking they're invincible, I want to bring up a little off segment topic here because I have a couple younger boys. You guys have younger children yourself, boys and girls. And do you guys know when we were younger growing up, what was the name for sneakers? What did you call sneakers? Did you guys have a? I call them kicks, right? I call them kicks. You know what the name is now?
No.
Heat.
Heat?
Yes. I didn't know that.
No.
So yeah, so
you got some new heat.
yeah. So my son's
some new
like,
heat?
yo, dad, he's got some cool heat. I was like, heat. I was like, man, my 11-year-old's hitting the heat ratio, but no, he's telling me. I'm like, heat. So to them, they post their Instagram photos. Hey, look at my new heat, or look at my heat collection. I didn't know that. So speaking of heat, I used to think like, wow, I remember how excited I used to be when I get a pair of shoes, and I remember my parents say, my dad specifically, I'm not paying more than $50 for a pair of shoes, right? So what I want to ask you, what is the one pair of shoes that in your mind that you remember that was your favorite? You couldn't wait to go get them. What they were called. I can tell you real fast mine, and I'm going to show my age, but mine were the Bo Jacksons. Ooh. I remember I went and I still remember them. Okay, they looked like Air Maxes. They were orange, blue, and white. I had a lot of orange in them. And I went down, and I had to get them from Mrs. Kim down in Joseph's, down Frankfurt Avenue, okay, because I went to Olympia Sports, and they didn't have them, so I had to go to Joseph's. And I don't know if you guys, I know John was never there. Dave, I don't know if you remember being in Joseph's, where everything was plastic wrapped. Yeah. You couldn't, Mrs. Kim would yell at you if you touched anything. You couldn't touch nothing. She would yell. So I remember I was so happy. Then I remember when I got in there, and it seems like a lot of money back then, but they were $55. And I remember looking at my dad, like, Dad, I know you said 50, but they're 55, like $5. He was like, well, I used to get $5 a week. He's like, I guess you're not getting $5 allowance this week. And I was like, that's fine. I don't care. I just want to see. So they were like my favorite pair, man. What about you? You remember like your favorite pair of shoes, girl?
Oh yeah,
it's got to be a Jordan thing, ain't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely it is. I looked it up. It was 1989. The white and fire red Air Jordans. My first pair of Jordans. They were I'm looking at the.
How many pairs of Jordans did you have?
That's it.
That you only have one pair?
One pair of Jordans. That's it.
Get out of here.
Yep. And when they didn't fit me anymore, I gave them to my friend. So I never forget that too. They lived for another day.
For another day, huh?
Yeah, but
Dude,
they're right now.
7 pairs of Jordans.
How many?
At least 7.
Yeah, this was the only.
I did
pair
North Carolina Jordans. Remember they had all different colors, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I had a lot of heat.
So these are they're now called the Air Jordan 4 Retros, Fire Red.
Interesting.
Is the name of them, but they were my favorite pair. When I played soccer when we were younger, we had Adidas Sambas.
I remember the Adidas.
The big sneakers.
I remember Adidas. How about the Fila? Remember the Fila with the strap?
Fila, yeah, they were.
The Filas with the strap.
Yeah.
What about the kangaroos with the little the zipper pocket on them? Weren't they called kangaroos? Yeah, weren't they called roos?
Yeah.
What?
Kangaroos. I never wore them. But
I never wore them either. Yeah.
Are you kangaroos?
Yeah.
I never heard of them.
They had didn't they have a zip? They had a zipper pocket. Was it on the side or on the tongue?
You know why I know about the kangaroos is Walter Payton wore kangaroos.
Where the hell did you buy kangaroos at?
Yeah, Australia.
Yeah. I don't
know. I'm only kidding.
No,
only kidding.
I honestly, I never heard of them.
You're gonna have to look it up.
How about you, John? What's your Pittsburgh picks?
Look, I ain't a heat guy. All right, I ain't into shoes and
I know. I've noticed.
Yeah, you're darn right. I ain't a shoe guy.
Hold on.
First of all, I only wear shoes about 4 months out of the year because.
Let me ask you something. Are you a Jesus sandal guy?
Nah,
you wear the Jesus sandals, don't you?
No.
Air Jerusalems.
No, I don't wear
no
those.
Crocs.
No.
You wear Crocs?
I got a pair.
Bro.
Hey, that's my line. I don't care.
Do you wear? Wait,
dude. Do you see how I dress ever?
All right.
Do you really
flip flops or slides? Please tell me slides. Please.
No,
tell
I'm flip flops.
See, I just lost all respect for you. You're in between the toes. That's such a woman's shoe.
The thong.
Yeah,
we've only been recording for an entire year.
Oh my Lord. I can't. Please just do me a favor. So we have it. I have it. Just so the audience understands. I have an open table in front of me that I'm looking. Please don't come here in flip flops, because I have a foot fetish.
What am I gonna take 8 months off the air? I'm sorry, dude. That's the way it is.
Yeah, I gotta get an apron for this table. I can't look at flip flops.
Now, my only shoes that I could really go back and say that I really liked, the Sean Kemp's.
Yo, I remember
the
that.
Kamikazes,
I remember the Kemps.
black, green, and white.
Yes, I know exactly.
That was really the only shoe
They were
in my
Reeboks,
life.
right?
They
that
were
I ever
they
wanted.
were Reeboks, and that was around the pump era. Remember the
Yeah.
pumps?
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember
Who did was it D Brown?
D Brown, slam
Pumped them
dunk
up?
champion.
Yep.
He had the pump. That was an awesome one. That was an awesome one. But oh man, see, I get all. Now I want to go out and buy some heat. You
Nah.
want to buy some heat?
Yeah, I'm gonna get some flip flops. They're on sale, man.
Please, you know,
Dude, Christmas day after Christmas, I'm going
No.
down to Old Navy
No.
and getting them
No,
for like
please.
$1.
please. I was so embarrassed. I went to the water park. I forget the name of it. Up the Poconos, Camelback, the indoor water park.
Wolf Lodge.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't Great Wolf Lodge. Something.
Yeah, I know what
Something
you
else.
mean.
Began with an A or something. I forget. But when I got there, I remember. I don't like feet. Hate feet. Okay. I wear socks 99. If I could shower in socks, I would. Hey, listen, all my boys that listen and know, they know me. They're laughing right now. They know. It's just the way I am. So I was so upset. I forgot my slides because I wear slides. I don't wear thong shoes. So I
You
had
wear
to
slides
go.
with socks.
So yes, I do. So I had to go.
I'm sorry, you're talking about. Oh, dude, to me that is the
That's a
worst.
city thing. That's a city. You see, everybody in Northeast Philly on the corner
Yeah, man.
has socks with slides on
That drives me up a wall.
and pajama pants.
It
And
drives me up a
pajama
wall.
pants. Well, I had to go in a gift store. I was hoping they only had the thong shoes. So I had to buy them, and I was dying for 2 days walking around with those things. It was skeeving me out, man.
Did it
I
make your
just-
feet chafe when
yeah,
they were
it
in
chafed.
the thong did?
I love how we're
Anyway.
saying thong shoes, but anyway,
Yeah, let's get on to some
Yeah,
sports talk.
yeah.
For not being a foot guy, you sure as hell spent enough time on it.
Listen, all right, we'll talk about heat. What about this Philly trade? We got to talk this Philly trade because this came out of nowhere to me. We heard, it was 2 weeks ago. We talked about Goldschmidt. There was a report about 2 weeks ago that the Eagles, that the Phillies were talking to Seattle about Segura and Edwin Diaz. So I did hear that. But now they make a fantastic deal. And they get the highly talented 28, John? 28?
28.
28-year-old Gene Segura, shortstop from Mariners, who's under team control until 2022.
3, I think.
Something. Either way, I mean, this guy batted .304 last year, 10 home runs. He steals 30, 40 bases. I mean, he's a great shortstop. Goes all out, and all we gave up was Carlos Santana and J.P. Crawford. Now, I know people would say, JP. Listen, I hope JP turns into what we thought he was, our number one prospect. And it just got worse and worse and worse, whether it be injuries, whether it be attitude. I still think he had an attitude issue. I really do. I think he was a guy who, I tell the story all the time that when I go to a lot of minor league games, and when I went to the minor league game to watch, the Reading Phillies play, all the other players were out there shaking hands, signing autographs, and he was the one guy to walk by, wouldn't look at anybody, wouldn't say boo, took the back way to avoid everyone, and went out to the field. To me, right away, there you go. There's the arrogance. I know they're allowed to do it, but I don't agree with it. So, and from that time on, he really didn't put all the stock into being that number one pick. So, I think it's a great deal. I think it's. I don't know what do you guys think? Do you think this deal signals more of a Machado kind of move or more of a Harper move, or do you think it matters?
I love the deal.
I think we're all in agreement with that.
I'm glad we got rid of Santana. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody that loved Santana being here, but first and third, so getting rid of him playing first or third, get rid of him. Right, that was we talked about that before.
Yep.
I would rather put Franco back at third than putting Santana there. So moving forward, the deal is excellent. This kid's like you said, how about a contact hitter, 300 hitter, right? Playing shortstop. The signs with Crawford to me was, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Kingery got moved to playing short, and then Crawford would come and play every once in a while at third base.
Yes,
so
I do remember that.
That was a telltale sign right there that they had no confidence in this kid being our future shortstop.
I completely agree.
So the signs were there before we knew actually what we were looking at. And the Machado deal, I mean, these two played, Segura and Machado played in the All-Star game together.
Yes, they did.
And Machado played third base.
Where he is an elite third baseman and an average shortstop.
Right. And then you got an elite shortstop. So
exactly.
I think that window is still open for him to come here. Those two are friendly, let's just say. And I think he'd be okay playing third base knowing that he's got an all-star short. Like, I'm not better than that guy, type of thing. And he comes.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that then.
So
that's a good point.
And Harper. So now you have. There's a spot in the outfield open, correct? Because now we just moved Reid over to play first.
Play first.
So there you go, Harper. Bryce, come on in. We'll take you and Machado.
No way.
Yes.
No way they're doing both.
Get both.
There's no way they're signing both of those guys.
You just lost a big contract in Santana.
But you
still
just
have
gained Segura.
But Segura's money is the same or similar to Santana. Let's just say I don't know the exact numbers.
Yeah.
So the window for all that money to be spent is still available. You already had that other money's locked up already. Santana money, Segura money equals out.
I think Machado, this signals to me, Machado's the number one guy. And I'll tell you why. Because I think now the idea with the Phillies is, okay, this is what we're going to go full court press to Machado, knowing that we want him to play third. Okay? But so when he comes back and says, well, I just want to play short, they say, well, we already have a shortstop. And so now they could say, okay, well, if it's not going to work, now we go to now the fallback is Harper. So I think this gives them that out. I don't think they're signing both of them. I think they're going to make another deal. Okay, there's going to be a deal coming up. I fully feel it's going to include a guy like Eflin, Cesar Hernandez, okay, and a couple prospects. And I'm telling you, I said this last night talking to a bunch of people that said I'm crazy, but don't be shocked if you start hearing the name Nolan Arenado starting to be floated out around there. Okay, he's an MVP third baseman. Okay, and the Rockies are not going to pay him. Okay, so it's already been known they dangled him a little bit to see what they could possibly get for him out in the market. So I'm telling you right now, if you're telling me that this move was to get a third baseman. This was, we're going to fill our shortstop, and we're going to put Kingery at second, back where he needs to play.
Absolutely.
Okay? And now that's going to make Cesar Hernandez expendable, which he does have some market value because of what he offers. So I think he can get you a nice piece as part of a package. So that's what I feel is going to happen. I really do. What do you think, John?
I think it was definitely a great trade for the Phillies in terms of what that means moving forward. Machado, Harper, either or. I mean, I'll say I don't believe that this indicates that they would be moving towards Machado. If anything, I would say they're moving away from it. If you got a guy that's shortstop, third base eligible, and this and that, you don't first thing if you're trying to get this guy to come to your town. First thing you do is go sign one of the best shortstops there is, especially when that also includes shipping out your first baseman to open up a hole for Mr. Bryce Harper, if that's the road they go. So if this indicates anything, I would say it would indicate something more along the lines of bringing in Harper over Machado. But truthfully, I don't think it means squat. Look, he's played second base. They could get rid of Kingery. They could get rid of Cesar. I'm not saying that they will, but I'm just saying.
That's a good point.
If something goes down, you throw Segura at second and Machado at short. I don't read too much into it, especially if they were entertaining thoughts of bringing on Goldschmidt when you already got a backlog at first base and Hoskins already playing outfield. I don't know how much position scarcity need, or having too much of it. I don't know that that's really playing into their their decisions. They're going out getting the best players.
They did offer a contract to Brantley, by the way, as well. No, I'm not saying but it's
the only other thing, and I think everybody knows that there's more moves coming.
Oh, no doubt. This is just
the move that has to happen is Patrick Corbin.
I love
100%.
Patrick Corbin, but I still think there's no way the Yankees don't throw everything at him and he goes there. With the brother, there's so many stories that link him to the New York Yankees. I still think, if you ask me who we wind up with, I think it's J Happ as a left-handed pitcher. I think we wind up with J Happ. I think the Yankees are going to go bonkers and they're going to sign Dallas Keuchel, and they're going to sign Corbin. I think they're going to go bonkers out there. I think that's why it takes them out of the Bryce Harper and Manny Machado race, because they're going to go after 2 stud pitchers. I think that's what they're going to do. Just my opinion. They're going to throw everything, which I don't disagree with. You already got Stanton. You're paying him all that money. I'm just saying, you have power bats in the lineup with Judge and Sanchez. I mean, now you got, Severino as your number 1, right? Now you're going to add what? You're going to add Corbin and Keuchel. I mean, that's what you need to do to go up against
Paxton.
Right, and they traded for Paxton. So you need to do that to beat the Red Sox.
Yes.
It's not bats you need, it's arms. Yeah. So I think that's the way they're going to go. But either way, I think you guys both said it right. This is just the beginning of what's going to be a very interesting hot stove. Final 10 minutes. We got to go fantasy football. Because obviously this is week 14, and this is playoff week. I got knocked out of my first round bye. I think John got knocked out of his first round bye.
Yep.
And Coach Dave got knocked out of the playoffs. So what I say to you before we start going over some names is, who cost you the playoffs? I can tell you right now, for me, it was 2 guys, Cam Newton and Emmanuel Sanders. These guys didn't produce. I lost by 12 points. That's all I lost by. And my lineup was pretty stacked. I mean, I was going back and forth with John. Who do I start, Eckler or Nick Chubb? And I did start Chubb, which was the right move, and which John suggested as well. But I mean, I have Chubb. I have DeAndre Hopkins. I have Amari Cooper. I have Philip Lindsay. I mean, I'm feeling good. And then Cam Newton throws 4 picks against Tampa Bay. I mean, for people who had Drew Brees, I feel bad for them on Thursday night. Who would have predicted that?
Yeah.
So what happened? Any specific player? Just what happened?
Look, I didn't have anything really. The one thing that was tough for me this week was no Melvin Gordon, no Leonard Fournette. So if you have that, and then, I mean, think about this, going into week 13, then you lose Kareem Hunt. Those are 3 top 10 running backs.
That's huge.
That poof are gone, So you do that, then Kamara, official from his mouth, it is Kamara. Alvin Kamara.
I thought it was a Pittsburgh thing.
Him and Mark Ingram, they combined for 100 total yards. That's it.
Wow.
100 total. They didn't get anything going. Michael Thomas didn't get anything going. A.J. Green leaves with an injury. Julio Jones, what did he have? He had 2 catches, I believe. 2 catches.
Unbelievable,
we talked about Alshon, 3 for 31. I mean, these are all guys that carried you. Emmanuel Sanders, 4 for 19. All these guys just kept carrying you, and they didn't come through and, killed a lot of guys going in, in the week where they needed it. There were some guys that really carried you, too. If anybody still had the cojones to start Derek Carr, his 285 yards with 3 touchdowns, I mean, that was nice. Russell Wilson keeps balling with 4 touchdowns, even though he didn't throw for much yardage-wise. Your boy Christian McCaffrey,
my boy C-Mac,
he's actually like one of him and Gurley are the only 2 studs that actually showed up and played.
Norv Turner. That's all I got to say. Kept saying at the beginning of the year, Norv friggin' Turner. Any team North Turner to pick up the running back, man, I'll tell you, you're gonna have a great year. So, what are you looking at? Like, was Spencer Ware that big of a deal? Are you looking at a guy like Samuels for Connor, who they say, could play? What do you go in? Are you taking risks in week 14? Or are you trying to just? I'm going with who I have. Like, what are you doing in week 14?